Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
We are now on air.
Time for a total takeover.
It's finally here. Welcome to a new episode.
It's about to go down.
First and foremost, giving honor to God and to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to see another day. Good morning, greetings and salutations, and welcome to another edition of the Dan Adams Show. And first of all, I want to just thank everybody who's been watching and listening to the podcast and the video cast. I really appreciate it. Share it out to all those who you think may benefit from whatever knowledge I may convey, whatever convictions I may have burrowing up inside this one self right here that needs to get out. And I just appreciate, the watching the bumpy screen and things of that nature as I do my shows every day, and aka the remote studios, aka the vehicle. And just right now, just the feasibility of doing this in my house right now is just not there at the moment. But I'm hoping that it will be available to me soon, and then I can really do what I really want to do. But I told y'all at the beginning, told my wife, and I said, hey, I'm going to start this. It's not going to be like I did before, where I stop and start. This is going to be, if I can do it and I'm able to do it, every day, Monday through Friday. Now, I'm only going to talk about one topic today, and I got some clips that I want to play at the end of the show that you really need to see from experts, because I am no expert. And as the title of today's show, the left is preying on your children. And I've been talking about this for the last few episodes, but I want to pinpoint what I'm really trying to get at. But let me go ahead and play this clip. This is up on my video hosting sites, not on YouTube. I am done with YouTube. They've already demonetized me, so why should I give them my efforts, blood, sweat, and tears, and things of that nature, when they felt that a guy that only has over 10,000 subscribers, let's go ahead and demonetize him. So, Rumble and BitChute is where I'm at. And this video I put up yesterday, and I want to go ahead and play it for you right now.
Man, y'all thought me teaching the children about me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid. At one point last year, I had explained to them that I was not Miss Lois or Mr. Lois. It's just Lois because I'm not a boy or a girl. And this was all well and good until October, when I also explained to them that I'm pagan, so I am also a witch. And at one point, I had gotten a haircut, and I got in the sides of my mohawk shaved down. And I come into work, and one of the children goes, Lois, are you a boy? You have short hair. And his sister goes, no, Lois is a girl. And a third child, who's my favorite, suddenly yells, no guys, we've been over this. Lois isn't a boy or a girl. Lois is a witch. Duh.
Hey, if your parents don't love and accept you for who you are this Christmas, fuck them. I'm your parents now. I'm proud of you. Drink some water. I love you. Bye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I really don't understand. Number one, the girl at the beginning looks like she's still in high school. So how was she teaching preschoolers? Okay, that's number one. And the gentleman in the second part of the clip, okay, so you're that brash and bold, which he was relieved of his duties as a teacher, was put on administrative leave, so he can't teach, but they're still paying him. So those are the individuals that are teaching your 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds. These are the people that are grooming, and I don't like the word grooming. I think what's the word I want to use? Because grooming is not the word I want to use. Obviously, they are indoctrinating your kids, obviously, but they are basically infiltrating the lives of your children and placing themselves in situations, putting themselves in situations that only have to do with you and your child and your upbringing of that child. Reading, writing, spelling, math, science, social studies, history, those are the subjects that need to be taught not only from preschool, but all the way up through high school. And I've stated this before. If you're in junior high, you're going through puberty, and you're just trying to realize what is going on with your body and how it is affecting you. In high school, first couple of years, you're just trying to get a better understanding of how high school works. Junior and senior, that's when you're trying to realize what you want to do when you're done with high school. Now, the upper years of high school, you may be going through some things, whether it's in reference to your sexuality and things of that nature. Well, you're at a point where your brain is still forming. The brain is not fully formed until the age of 26. But yet you have a better understanding of who you are when you're a junior and senior in high school. And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, if you're having any confusion or you need someone to speak to, if you go to a teacher and that teacher does not inform your parent at that point that you're struggling with something, then that teacher should be held accountable. Point blank in the story. It is not your responsibility as a teacher to mold that student, which happens to be your child, try to somehow push them into a direction that you want them to go into because that's your lifestyle. That is not up to you. That is not your decision to make. And if teachers are not held accountable, if school officials are not held accountable, then this is going to continue on in the dark of night. So, for those individuals who have a so-called alternative lifestyle, why are you trying to force this down the throats of our children? Why are you trying to push this upon our children? What is your end result from this? What is your end game? I keep asking this question and no one wants to answer it. If I was to ask someone who is part of this indoctrination, I guarantee you I wouldn't get an answer from them. Oh, I'm just letting them be who they want. No, you're not. If they have questions, especially along these lines, it is not your responsibility to have that talk with my child. So, no matter how you slice it and dice it, ladies and gentlemen, for these individuals who are trying to infiltrate our youngest of the young, it is just as bad with the federal government mandating masks for toddlers and younger children who are the least at risk of having any adverse effects from COVID. We've known this for 2 years, but yet the federal government still wants, or I should say, federal government, state and local governments, and school boards, superintendents, teachers, and the like, still want to mask your toddler, your 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, even all the way up into high school, because even high schoolers are still the minimal risk from any adverse effects from COVID should outweigh the nonsense coming from the so-called grown-ups and adults in the room. But let me get back to this. What is the end game, end result? Are they trying to build up an army of sorts? For what? What are you trying to do to our children? Why are you preying on our children? Someone needs to answer this. Someone needs to be held accountable. Someone needs to be brought. I was about to say something, but I'm not gonna say it. You know how sometimes a thought comes in your head and you're thinking, no, you better not say that. I'm not gonna say it. But get back to the seriousness of the matter. The left, and I shouldn't say all left, and I'm gonna start doing my best to not lump in, pull all of the left into the same spectrum. I'm not going to do that because that's what they do on the left with us on the right. If you're a conservative and if you're a Republican, then you are this no matter if you have a differing opinion, a different mindset, a different belief system than other conservatives or those on the right or Republicans. So I'm going to try. So some of the left are preying on our children. I need answers. I need answers. Forget this, oh, I am supportive of your child. I want to be there for them and blah, 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 which is all BS. Because I guarantee you, these 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds don't want to know that they can cut off their penis and become a woman, or vice versa. This is not what a 5, 6, and 7, and 8-year-old is thinking about when they go to school or want to know when they go to school. They want to learn reading, writing, spelling, math, science, social studies, and the like. You know, the stuff that you and I, when we were 5, 6, and 7, and 8-year-old, was taught in school. This alternative lifestyles, you do you, alternative lifestyler. You do you. I don't understand it. Don't ask me to come on board with it. I'm going to respect you from a distance. I'm not going to come down on you and say, you know what? You can't do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's not how I roll. But do not expect me to be on board and supportive of that. If I know your name, I want to call you by your name. If I know that you're a woman and a man, and if I somehow say that you're a man or a woman or he or a she, and I'm not somehow properly coming at you with whatever pronoun or whatever the heck it is that you want me to call you, it is not out of disrespect, ladies and gentlemen. That's just me. It is not out of disrespect. It is about how I, as a 49-year-old man, has been brought up. This is what we, as individuals in my age bracket, know, and do not expect us to just jump on board with what you expect us to jump on board with. That's just not how I roll. Like I said, I will respect what you do from a distance. I'm going to let you do you. But don't jump down my throat when I don't want to support you doing you. So I am done with my soapbox for today. And it is Wednesday. I have my coffee right here in my little thermos. And for those, it's called the Brewmate. It's called the Brewmate. This thing is excellent, and it keeps your coffee or whatever hot liquid that you want hot for hours. So, Roommate, ladies and gentlemen. So, there goes my official sponsor for today, Roommate. But no, in all seriousness, it is Wednesday. Get over the hump, whatever hump that may be, and open up yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying you need to bend over backwards, but just open up yourselves for a conversation with someone that may have an opposite viewpoint than you. Let it be civil. Put those boundaries in place and say, hey, we may differ on this. If you want to converse, let's converse, but let us be civil about it. I'm just trying to bridge that gap. I really am, because life is too damn short. And if I'm going to have my beliefs, my convictions, and those are never going to waver. But if I can somehow bridge the gap so we can somehow come together in a peaceful manner, then that's what I'm going to do. So until next time, may God continue to bless you and yours. May he keep you and your family safe. So until next time, God bless. Peace.
It's not just the pocketbook issues that have Democrats worried about the midterm elections, but also parents' rights and progressive school districts trying to eliminate input on what kids learn in class. That would be parental input. That includes New Jersey, where Republicans are now calling for the governor to put a stop to planned sex ed lessons for first graders, including discussions of gender identity, lessons in which some teachers are set to tell children ages 6 and 7 that they can be a boy or a girl or a little bit of both. Let's bring in special report anchor Bret Baier. One of the people who's most critical of this is the New Jersey State Senator Hawley Scapese. Here's what she told America's Newsroom yesterday. Let's listen.
It just goes way too far. We're teaching first graders, kindergarteners, that if you have a penis, it doesn't mean that you're a boy. If you have a vagina, it doesn't mean you're a girl. We've just really kind of lost our way in what we're trying to teach our children.
I remember first grade, and I don't remember any of that coming up, Brett. But what children are being taught in school was a huge issue in last November's election, and it looks like it's going to be again this year as well.
It does. Good afternoon, John. I think this political issue is nuclear. It is potentially nuclear that crosses party lines, Democrat, Independent, Republican. It's parents dealing with teachers, and there's practicality of a first grader coming home, and you haven't even talked about the birds and the bees, let alone the birds and the birds, and you are waiting to see, and yet they're so young. So that's the concern for some of these parents, and in New Jersey, it is coming to a head, and Governor Phil Murphy is feeling the pressure. Again, not just from Republicans who have a point of view about schooling, but from Democrats who think that progressivism has gone too far. And we're hearing this reverberate throughout the country, and that's why you're seeing polls indicate that there could be a big shift come November.
You know, this is a conversation that has come up in my daily life, talking with a lot of parents of some of the other kids that our kids go to school with. And there's a question of whether kids in first grade even understand the concepts of gender identity, gender fluidity, and gender role stereotypes. But to a bigger point, it's an issue of parental control. Parents are being told by the state what their children are going to be taught, and the state is saying, parents, you don't have a say in this.
And that's the biggest part. And we saw that in real form politically in the state, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and Governor Glenn Youngkin and his win. Largely, I mean, obviously dealing with the economy and a host of other issues, but education did play high in that race. And I think the potential is that it's going to play other places. Let's be clear. This is not about denigrating LGBTQ or not providing a safe space for those kids or the parents of those kids, but it's about teaching gender identity and teaching actual school classes or some curriculum that deals with that. These parents who are speaking up of all ideologies are saying, hey, listen, just writing, reading, arithmetic, that's what I'd like to start with.
Yeah, and after 2 years of COVID lockdowns, maybe some attention needs to be paid to those. The critics are concerned that these discussions at this early age may push children in a direction that they're either not ready for or may not be heading in at all. There was an interesting op-ed in the Washington Post yesterday, written by Corinna Cohn. As a boy, she had gender reassignment surgery at the age of 19 to become a woman. She now says she would have waited to make the transition. She writes, "I shudder to think of how distorting today's social media is for confused teenagers. I'm also alarmed by how readily authority figures facilitate transition. I had to persuade 2 therapists, an endocrinologist, and a surgeon to give me what I wanted. None of them were under crushing professional pressure as they now would be to affirm my choice." I mean, the pressure in society is leaning toward, well, if you feel like you're not the gender that you were assigned at birth, I like to say the way that you were born, because you were either born with an XX chromosome or XY, then you know, you're not part of society if you're not helping to push people in these directions.
I'm not a child psychologist, I'm not a biologist, but I am somebody who looks at political winds. And I can see this. This is a tornado. And if Democrats think that this kind of progressivism in schools is somehow going to get their base fired up, I think they're probably mistaken. And I just think practically, from a political point of view, not from the scientific side, I think it's just what parents want to have a say in everything, especially that young.
Yeah, I mean, we're both parents, and you know what our kids are being taught and how they grow up is the most important thing to us. And I think it's going to be a big issue November 8th, no question about it. Brett, thank you. We'll see you tonight. Special report, 6 o'clock.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.
Canada, what a decent, beautiful country filled with nice people. Unfortunately, it's now an authoritarian country. Justin Trudeau's government has just outlawed independent journalism in Canada. The government now requires that journalists possess a journalism license. Now, to get that license, the journalists have to report favorably on Justin Trudeau's government. Rebel News, is one of Canada's few honest news outlets, did not get a license. Right, that's called censorship, and it's not surprising. Last year, Justin Trudeau tried to have Rebel News banned from covering a debate in Canada. A judge overturned that ban and allowed a Rebel News reporter inside the debate hall. Here's how Justin Trudeau responded to that ruling.
The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines, around how we're going to actually get through this pandemic and be there for each other and keep our kids safe, is part of why we're seeing such unfortunate anger and lack of understanding of basic science. And quite frankly, I won't call it a media organization.
So you criticize me, therefore you shouldn't be able to talk. That guy's a fascist, just to be totally clear. Ezra Levant is not. He founded Rebel News. He joins us tonight. Ezra, thanks so much for coming on. This is one of those stories, it's just hard to believe, reading it as a longtime fan of your country, that this could be allowed to happen. Have we overstated it?
Well, it's not yet illegal to do journalism without that license. It's a government license called the Qualified Canadian Journalism Organization license. A government panel reviews you. They spent 1 year reviewing Rebel News, looking through more than 100 of our stories, a panel of 5 people in secret. We don't even know what they said or did or what they looked at. And they claim that only 1% of our stories are news, so we don't get the license. Now, we're not outlawed, but there's all sorts of sticks and carrots that come with it. For example, just last week, Trudeau announced that he is going to compel Facebook and Google to downrank non-licensed journalists like us and boost his trusted, friendly journalists. So we're going to be hidden, and he's going to compel the internet giants to punish us. He's also changing the Income Tax Act to punish us. If you have a government license, your subscribers can write off their subscription at tax time. If you're an independent journalist like us, no dice. Of course, there are hundreds of millions of dollars that he is hosing with a fire hose at his trusted licensed journalists, and he's now compelling Google and Facebook to fund journalists too. So now you've got literally 99% of Canadian media companies that are dependent on Justin Trudeau and soon Google and Facebook for a huge chunk of their revenues. There's no way those journalists can be free and independent. We're not banned yet, although we are banned from government events, as you said earlier. But I'm worried that he's done all this in 2 years. The worst is yet to come. He may well ban us yet.
Well, if he's forcing the tech monopolies to downgrade your content, I mean, it's a distinction without a difference. You're banned from reaching readers. So my question is, what about the rest of Canadian media? They're going along with this? Has anyone at the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, stood up to defend you? Any of your newspapers to defend you?
1,500 Canadian news media companies are on the take. Now, they don't all have these journalism licenses yet, but they're all taking money from Trudeau. He made a special $61 million payment to them right before the election. None of them reported that. 1,500 news media companies cut up a $61 million gift. None of them reported that. So the thing is, since they're in on it, they can't very well report it, and they certainly can't very well object to it. It used to be that the Liberals of Canada were for civil rights and free speech and separation of, government and the media. Those days are done. You can really count on one hand's fingers the independent media left in the country, and Trudeau hates them. We were the ones who covered the trucker rebellion, as you know, and Trudeau hated the truckers because they were the one group that opposed him. He hates us for the same reason. He seized the bank accounts of truckers without legal process. I'm worried that if he's gone this far in 2 years, by the time he finishes his term 3 years from now, I'm worried that he's going to start to treat us like the truckers. I don't know, will he seize our bank accounts? Will he ask Google and Facebook to delist us altogether? I know that sounds paranoid, but so far he's done everything he threatened he would do.
It's China. And they're so fragile. You're one little news organization, and they can't stand any scrutiny. It really tells you a lot. Ezra, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Godspeed. We are rooting for you, for sure.
Never satisfied with keeping it real. I'd rather be the truth, genuine we feel. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I can't wait any longer. Some say I did it again. I just invented a trend that your eyes can't see, but this isn't where I'll be. La 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 If I say it, I'll do it. Nothing left, then prove it. If you wanna go on a journey, come and follow me. Come and take a ride. Up to you to decide. Looking for a better day, then come my way. La 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 If you wanna get away, there's nothing left to say. Let's get out of here in the atmosphere. Time for you to control what's released from your soul. Now we're on a roll.